Imagine, chosen one, before you knew who you were marked by those ancient forces that lurked in the shadows. While everyone thought you were living an ordinary life, unseen obstacles, unexplained coincidences, eyes that could be felt even in the silence of the night, always stood in your way. Looking back now, you see that the reason for these coincidences, the pressures you have been under, and the invisible war that has been waged on you is not ordinary. Because the light of your soul threatens the very reptilians and their behind-the-scenes games. On this journey, you have always felt as if someone was watching you. Sometimes you have been oppressed for no reason. You have even been a stranger in your own family. Because they saw the divine spark in you before you did. They used their own energies, plans, and manipulations against you. But there was one thing they forgot. You are not an ordinary person. You are the carrier of an ancient energy that even they cannot explain. Today is the time to learn the truth and break the chains. They are afraid of your power because if you wake up, their whole system will collapse. Now you are realizing your own potential, your intuition, and divine protection. And remember, the real war in this world is between souls. You are the chosen one, and it is time for you to come out of their shadows and shine your own light. Get ready and write 666 in the comments because this story will be written with your ascension. There's a moment in every story when the curtain gets pulled back, and those who once ruled from the shadows suddenly find themselves exposed beneath the glaring light of truth. The entire landscape of your family is about to be redrawn, as a document of legal authority sets you at the center of an inheritance storm no one saw coming. The ones who fancied themselves gatekeepers of power are in disarray, scrambling for cover, desperate to erase their tracks, or launching last-ditch efforts to reverse what has already been written into law. All the while, one architect of chaos, whose schemes once went unquestioned, is headed straight for a reckoning that will leave your entire extended family stunned. Not so long ago, someone close orchestrated a betrayal so intricate it seemed impossible to untangle. Favoritism tied to sudden wealth, names on a list, futures quietly decided behind closed doors. But another list is surfacing now, one with every single person who twisted the knife behind your back. And when these names come to light in a public setting, the impact will echo through every generation. Nothing poisons a tree faster than envy, and one particular branch in your family tree became adept at injecting fear and suspicion right into the trunk. Little remarks, tales told out of turn, exaggerated reactions. They all built up like layers of old paint, distorting the picture of who you are in the eyes of your benefactor. Instead of seeing your heart, they saw a caricature crafted from other people's anxieties. What started as tiny cracks of doubt grew into chasms of mistrust. The same hands that should have offered comfort and support instead planted unease, until even those meant to care for you began looking for danger in your every word and gesture. There's a certain artistry to the way some people manipulate, like a stage magician, redirecting attention with one hand while hiding the trick with the other. This wasn't their first act either. Their entire history is a series of calculated moves, isolating competitors and hoarding blessings meant to be shared. Every missed opportunity, every dollar rerouted, every door slammed in your face, it was all by design. And while you were kept outside the circle, those inside congratulated themselves on how clever they'd been. If you feel the abundance of divine love in your heart, now is the time to share it. You can help spread God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube and contributing $20 or more. This divine gift will touch not only your life, but the souls of many through this platform. Each of you has a sacred place in God's grand design, and your generosity will be the fruit of our prayers. Act now, share your blessings to glorify His kingdom. For you were created to do even greater things in God's loving hands. May God bless you. And through it all, as secrets burst open and loyalties are tested, you stand on the threshold of a destiny no one can block. Every effort to keep you small has only amplified your ultimate breakthrough. Now, as the spotlight swings onto the architects of your exclusion, it's clear. What they meant for harm is about to usher in a new era, one where your name is no longer a cautionary tale, but a testament to survival, truth, and the unstoppable hand of divine justice. If you feel God's presence, you can tap the join button below to become part of the first chosen ones and receive the most important revelations early. Sometimes the universe turns the light on in a dark room, and suddenly, every hidden motive is exposed. That's exactly what's unfolding in your world now. A slow, unstoppable awakening, shaking the very foundations of your benefactor's heart. There came a point when your absence spoke louder than any lie ever whispered about you. A point where old anxieties and unexplained fears around family stopped making sense. Their soul began to itch with curiosity. Step by step, they started to peel away the layers, confronting not just present wounds, but the deep childhood hurts that had been twisted and used as weapons against both of you. It was like the floodgates broke. Every assumption, every inherited suspicion, every narrative handed down by someone with an agenda was suddenly laid bare. They recognized that the walls keeping you apart were not built from truth, but from bricks of deception. A structure designed to keep them starved for connection, and you trapped on the outside looking in. The inner healing journey has been relentless. Each counseling session became a lantern, illuminating dark corners where old betrayals festered and false beliefs grew like weeds. Their fear of your supposed anger was not a reflection of your spirit, but an echo of wounds left unhealed in their own past. A wound exploited by someone who played their insecurities like an instrument. With every breakthrough, guilt crashed over them like waves. They recalled watching you grind, hustle, and sacrifice. Your dreams constantly postponed, your burdens multiplied, all while they possessed resources that could have eased every hardship. Realizations settled in heavy. They had become unwittingly a tool in another's campaign to keep you out in the cold. The turning point came when your benefactor discovered the full extent of the manipulation. It wasn't just passive neglect. The person who pulled the strings had been living large on what should have been yours, collecting favor and funds even while they quietly undermined your reputation. Sitting down with a family therapist, your benefactor mapped out the tactics used to keep you separated. They began to see how false impressions had been hammered into place through constant suggestion, how a portrait of you was painted using only the colors of someone else's fear. Every session, every journal entry, every insight has been carefully documented, building a case so solid it could stand in any courtroom. A case showing exactly how a legacy was hijacked by lies. But healing alone was never the final destination. As the veil lifted, your benefactor chose bold action over silent regret. This wasn't just about making amends with a quick apology or a symbolic gift. They began reworking their entire estate, drawing up contracts, consulting with legal strategists, and crafting a legacy that would not only right past wrongs, but set you up with real, lasting security. Properties are being signed over, business interests recalibrated, investment accounts transferred, all with legal scaffolding designed to stand strong against any future attack. There are fallback clauses that actually increase your share if anyone dares contest your inheritance, and strict penalties for interference. They've created an entire structure, a financial fortress, ensuring your new future cannot be picked apart by jealous hands or challenged by anyone clinging to the past. And now, from the other side of this storm, a voice rises to remind you that you were never alone. Some people are sent to be way showers for others, those who have faced exile, survived the flames, and returned carrying blueprints for freedom. In secret gatherings across time zones, in digital sanctuaries where souls gather weekly for wisdom and witness, stories are shared by those who once wandered lost, but now serve as lighthouses for the awakening. Every face on the screen, whether an intuitive who walked away from Wall Street or a healer who broke chains of spiritual abuse, carries a story like yours. And when you feel isolated, when the journey through injustice and restoration feels lonely, you can join that field, press play, and know that you walk a path blazed by others who refuse to be defined by what was done to them. Sometimes, destiny delivers an inheritance so vast, it feels like stepping into a new universe, one where every past struggle gets answered with more than enough. Suddenly, the numbers in your name are more than digits, their doors flung open to a life unburdened by worry, a future where your children's children are blessed by the overflow. This isn't a mere transfer of funds, it's the arrival of generational security, with each asset, each property, each stake in a thriving company standing as proof that abundance really can be built to last. These aren't hopes pinned to chance, but established streams of prosperity, wealth that works for you whether you're asleep or awake, properties that pay for themselves, businesses that have weathered storms and still thrive. You're not just coming into money, you're stepping into a legacy with roots deeper than most could ever imagine. Dear brothers and sisters, may God's peace be upon you today. I am here to remind you of a profound truth. Our existence is grounded in God's divine plan, unshaken by the temporal concerns of the world. As the Bible says, whatever is done in faith will return to God in abundant blessing. Luke 6:38. Like that great oak tree, our roots are deeply rooted in God's universal truth. Every step we take, every stand we take, is secured by His strength. And now, you are being offered the opportunity to be part of that blessing. When you use the Super Thank You button and donate $100, this movement will return to you 100-fold in abundance. But with the arrival of blessing comes the thunder before the calm. The word of your elevation is about to sweep through the family like a summer tornado, uprooting every secret, every scheme, every false word spoken in the dark. Those who cheered your downfall or stood silent as your name was dragged are about to witness a divine reversal so complete it will leave them breathless. The ones who sowed discord now see their own harvest, regret blooming in their fields. The very architect of your exile will realize that the fortress they built for themselves has become your castle. Accusations will fly like startled birds. People will say, "You don't deserve this," that you must have twisted arms or manipulated hearts. They'll forget every hardship you endured, every kindness you showed, and instead reach for any excuse to make sense of their own lack. The reaction won't come in a single wave, but in a series of tidal surges. First, those closest, who had counted their chickens before they'd hatched, will reel in disbelief. Their future plans, once drawn in ink, will blur and run like watercolor in a storm. Next, the outer branches of the family tree, Those who never lifted a finger to help but always had opinions to offer will come to realize that by believing lies, they signed up for their own undoing. The shame will sting, the anger will churn, but the greatest fury will come from the one who spun the web, now caught in their own trap, realizing that their grip has slipped forever. What really stings isn't just losing wealth, it's watching every secret unravel, every manipulation laid bare. This isn't gossip or petty drama, it's the revelation of a conspiracy lined with proof, traced through messages, bank transfers, and whispered testimonies. Shock will ripple through the group as records, statements, and receipts come to light, leaving no room for clever denials or emotional appeals. People will see, line by line, exactly how much was siphoned away, how many opportunities were stolen, how deep the deception really ran. Some will be frozen with embarrassment as they realize how easily they were played. Others will struggle to admit how eager they were to believe the worst. The whole foundation of family unity will crack as everyone is forced to face their part, whether as puppet or bystander. This reckoning isn't a gentle correction, it's a courtroom drama in the living room, a stage where every role is called out by name. Your benefactor will step forward with documentation, recordings, a chronological map of manipulation, leaving no stone unturned. They'll name the tactics used, the emotions weaponized, the ways childhood fears were twisted into ammunition. For the first time, people will see how the real story was hidden behind 1,000 little lies, how their own hands helped write the script of your exclusion. If you feel God's presence, you can tap the join button below to become part of the first chosen ones and receive the most important revelations early. But don't underestimate the lengths those losing power will go to try and flip the script once more. They'll pull out every stop, question your motives, challenge your benefactor's mental state, claim you're only around for the windfall. Old tactics will be dusted off, guilt trips, loyalty pleas, interventions designed to paint you as the villain. They'll hire attorneys, file motions, and try to use the system to claw back what they feel entitled to, even as every maneuver exposes the real reason they're fighting. Not love, not justice, but greed and loss. You will be called everything except what you really are: a survivor, a restorer, the rightful heir to what was kept from you. But through it all, remember, no storm lasts forever. The very fact that so many would battle for scraps when you've been handed the storehouse is evidence that you are walking in divine favor. This isn't just about restoring what was stolen. It's about setting a new standard, ending cycles of envy and control, and modeling what it looks like when truth finally gets its day in the sun. The world may be noisy with opinion, but your legacy will be silent proof that when divine justice moves, it leaves nothing undone. You're stepping into more than inheritance. You're stepping into the fulfillment of every promise made in the dark, now brought into the light. The story that once read like a tragedy is being rewritten into a testimony that even those who doubted you will be forced to respect. This is the blessing your perseverance has called forth, the reward your faith has earned. Let the winds howl. The roots of your destiny are too deep to be shaken now. There are moments in life when providence covers every possible weakness, when protection is layered so carefully that not even the fiercest storm can get through. Your benefactor, with wisdom forged through years of lessons and mistakes, put in place a fortress of documentation and foresight. Their mind was examined by trusted experts, an unshakable testimony that every decision was made in full possession of truth and clarity. For every possible accusation, a record exists, There are statements, sworn testimonies, even video logs where your benefactor recounts the web of manipulation and their reasons for restoring your name. For every scheme cooked up in secret, there's a wall of proof waiting to turn the tables. If anyone dares to challenge your position, the very evidence they built their case on becomes ammunition against them. Penalties are ready, counterclaims are drawn, and the cost of trying to undo what's right will only dig the opposition deeper into their own pit. Nothing about this inheritance is vulnerable to a sudden attack. It's secured like treasure in a vault, untouchable by the hands that once tried to steal it. Now, the spotlight shifts to you, standing at the crossroads of a new chapter. You possess all the keys, but wisdom is your guide. The most powerful thing you can do is simply to stand in the light. No need to fight battles that have already been won. Don't waste breath defending yourself to those who never wanted the truth in the first place. Their drama is an old record you no longer need to play. Instead, you're invited to let your actions, your quiet loyalty, and your honest character speak for themselves. The transformation is already obvious. The person you are now is the one your benefactor longed to reconnect with all along. The real victory is the restoration of what was always yours, achieved not through argument, but through the undeniable truth of your presence and consistency. Those who try to provoke you, hoping you'll stumble, only reveal their own bitterness. The story of your rise is a tale of steady roots, not sudden eruptions. Every structure supporting your windfall is engineered to withstand the strongest winds. The agreements, trusts, and legal measures will grow stronger the harder others try to tear them down. What's more, your benefactor has decided not to hide behind silence or shame. They're not just setting things right. They're shining a floodlight on every hidden motive, every manipulation, every shadow in the family's history. The secrets that kept you sidelined are coming out for all to see, and everyone will know how the lies were tailored for each listener. No one escapes untouched by this revelation. Every rumor, every whispered warning, every character smear is laid bare and connected to the hand that created it. The pain of facing this truth will ripple outwards, first as shame, then as anger. But in the end, the reckoning brings healing, where denial once reigned. As you step into this new era, what's being handed to you is more than just numbers or properties. You're being given the keys to doors you thought would stay closed forever. With every obstacle removed, you can finally show the world who you are without being defined by what you lack. This is your moment to reclaim dreams that were shelved when money was tight, to pursue passions that used to seem out of reach. The person your relatives thought was desperate or unstable was really just fighting for survival, weighed down by burdens they could have lifted with a simple act of kindness. Now you get to choose your future from a place of plenty, not scarcity. Your choices will be based on vision, not need, on love, not lack. Not only does this change your life, it reawakens every spark you once let go dim. The creative projects, the business ideas, the relationships you wanted to nurture but couldn't afford to, you can bring them all to life. The funding, resources, and support you receive will let you take risks, dream boldly, and try new things without fearing immediate failure. Every opportunity is now within your grasp, not because of luck, but because justice finally stepped in to do what's right. You'll find that people respond differently to someone whose needs are met. A new level of respect, trust, and possibility opens up when your foundation is solid. More than that, you're inheriting a map, not just a treasure chest. The wisdom, strategies, and professional networks your benefactor has built become part of your toolkit. You're being welcomed into a legacy of growth, not just a flash of fortune. There's an entire system at your disposal. Financial mentors, business partners, advisors, people whose only job now is to help you build, grow, and expand. You're not just being given a windfall to spend, you're being given the tools to build generational wealth and security. What was denied to you is now being multiplied, so the old wounds are replaced with an inheritance that never runs dry. This isn't simply restitution, it's a transfer of destiny, a confirmation that you were meant for more than struggle. The doors are opening, and the path is clear. Every safeguard is in place. What once felt impossible is now inevitable. You are stepping into a legacy designed to outlast every trial, every accusation, every storm. The foundation is solid, the future is open, and you, chosen one, are finally free to flourish. There are seasons when justice comes wrapped in gold, but the true reward is not the wealth itself. It's the restoration of dignity that no one can take away. Years of being pushed aside, watching favor flow to those who built their fortunes on your exclusion, and enduring judgment fueled by whispered lies. All of it is finally over. This is vindication, with the weight of eternity behind it. Not only are you being restored to your rightful place, but you are being elevated above every false narrative ever spoken about your life. The universe has rewritten the verdict. You were not the villain, you were the lesson. And those who mistook shadows for substance must now watch as the sun rises on a new day that exposes their mistakes. Your name, once dragged through the mud, is about to become synonymous with perseverance, restoration, and undeniable worth. Now is the time to share God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube. You can contribute to His plan and be a part of this divine mission with a donation of $100 or more. Every gift reflects God's generosity, and I believe it will return to you exponentially, far beyond your expectations. Remember, His protection and blessing is on your every step and every donation. You become part of His divine plan. You are a strong, radiant being, unshakable as His mighty rock. Witness God's miracles, feel the fruits of your generosity in your soul, and illuminate the world with confidence and courage. Be blessed, and let the light of the Lord guide your path. The landscape of your life is shifting as surely as the tide, clearing away what no longer serves your destiny. You may have noticed a quiet urge to simplify, to clear out clutter, to make space for something you couldn't name. That intuition wasn't random. It was your spirit clearing the ground for abundance to take root. Where confusion and exhaustion once held sway, there is now clarity and readiness. The worries that used to keep you awake, rent, medical bills, dreams that seemed forever out of reach, are dissolving like morning mist. The very limitations that once frustrated you were preparing you to steward the blessing that's about to arrive. Through every test, every disappointment, every deferred hope, your soul has been tempered like steel, ready to build with the tools now placed in your hands. If you feel God's presence, you can tap the join button below to become part of the first chosen ones and receive the most important revelations early. You stand at the threshold of a season, defined not by what you lack, but by what you are finally free to give and create. The paperwork is being finalized, the old chapter is closing, and a world of opportunity is waiting at your feet. There is no need to look back or try to justify yourself to those still blinded by their own fear. The truth is already moving on your behalf, setting the stage for a new reality where you are no longer a survivor. You are the architect of a legacy. The resources now within your reach were always meant for you, planted in your path long before the battles began. The journey from isolation to honor, from deprivation to overflow, is complete. The world may have doubted, but the divine never did. Your inheritance is secured, your position is established, and the story that unfolds from here is one of healing, abundance, and a destiny fulfilled.